Navigator develops personalized pathways for each of your students, taking them from their unique starting points to their grade level destinations. Each pathway, called the learning journey, is based on the individual student's knowledge and needs. As a result, it is very likely that your students' learning journeys will look different from each other. As with most journeys, we often need a reroute after making a wrong turn or missing an exit. The same is true of the student's learning journey in Navigator. If they struggle, Navigator offers them a suggested resource to get them back on track. Let's take a look at the learning journey on your page. You can access your class learning journey by clicking on the learning journey icon on your class card. It looks like 3 bars or a sideways bar graph. Many courses are divided into milestones. This is larger than a unit and it often represents a grade level. In this case, I'm teaching math. I can see all milestones in my course from grades 2 to 8. I have some students that need to fill gaps in grade 2, some that only need to work on grade 7 or 8, and others somewhere in between. From this view, I can see my class level data. I can see how my students are performing in each milestone. For example, 17 students have completed lessons in the grade 3 milestone, scoring an average of 87%. Clicking on a milestone expands it to show the lessons that can appear in students' learning journeys. Recall that since the learning journeys are personalized to each student, one student's learning journey might include a given lesson while another student's doesn't. However, as a teacher, you see all the lessons included in your course. Students' learning journeys are built using a range of data. In some courses like math, students will be prompted to take adaptive diagnostics as they begin work in new domains. In other courses like science, all students might start at the same spot, for example, 6th grade earth science or 8th grade biology. In other cases, as with ELA, teachers can use benchmark scores and in-class assessments to assert each student's starting level. Clicking on a lesson shows the collections and assessments it includes. Collections are indicated by this icon, while assessments are marked with a % sign. We often call assessments checks for understanding or CFUs. In your learning journey, as with your students, assessment and CFU mean the same thing. You can view these by clicking on them. We can also see lesson level data. Here, I can see that 9 of my students have completed this lesson, writing number sentences using parentheses and brackets, with an average score of 63% on their assessment or check for understanding. Recall that students need to score 80% or better to show mastery and to grow their skylines. I can take a closer look at which students have worked on this lesson and what their scores were by clicking on the average score colored here in orange. By default, students are sorted alphabetically by last name. However, you can also sort by score. This can be really helpful when you are trying to identify groups for extra support and instruction. Notice that along the left side of your learning journey page, you can find a list of students. By hovering over any of the avatars, the list expands. You can get a quick view here of which students have worked on Navigator today and how much time they've spent. For example, I can see that Claire has spent 13 minutes and 20 seconds working in this course so far today. Clicking on any student's name from this list opens up their individual learning journey. Now, instead of whole class data, you can examine an individual student's progress. This can be very helpful if a student is struggling. You can check their learning journey to see what lessons they have found challenging and which topics you might need to readdress in class. Individual learning journey views can also be helpful during conferences, so parents, guardians, and even administrators can view an individual student's progress. For example, I can see that this student, Claire, has done well on lessons in her 6th grade milestone, scoring an average of 92%. However, I also see that there is a significant amount of struggle in her 7th and 8th grade milestones. You can click on a student's milestone to see what lessons they've been working on. You can also click on their milestone score to get a quick view of their progress. Here, we can see that Claire has completed 3 of 43 assigned lessons in her 7th grade milestone. I can see her score on each of those lessons, as well as her average. This signals to me that I might need to provide Claire with additional support or even reteach a few concepts. Clicking on the X brings you back to your class level page. These data update as students work, especially after a page refresh. The learning journey is an excellent way to get a range of information, from high-level metrics like the class's average score on a milestone, all the way down to student-specific information. You can use these data to inform your instruction and to get a better, real-time understanding of your students' learning.